capacity, reduce hours, or close altogether. Nationally, it's estimated that 3 million women left the workforce during the pandemic, many to provide care for their young children. With so much need exposed, now is the time to invest in transformational strategies, especially for our most vulnerable families. That's why my colleagues, board members Jackie Goldberg, Nick Melvin, and I have brought this resolution to the board to provide early childhood education to all of our young children. Today marks the beginning of an effort to reach universal preschool for every child in Los Angeles by 2024. First, the resolution would expand our early transitional kindergarten programs immediately this fall to serve more students, getting us as close as possible to the goal of every elementary school having a high quality preschool program on site, leveraging our COVID relief dollars. Then we'll develop and implement a plan to serve all 3 and 4-year-olds in Los Angeles over the next 3 years. To reach all young learners, the district will need to work in close partnership with community and home-based providers, as well as garner greater investment from the state and federal governments. Even as we expand our own programs, this ambitious goal will require a collaborative approach. As the mother of 2 young children myself, I know the incredible value of educational programs for our babies and toddlers, but also the struggle of our working families to find quality, affordable care in our city. Research shows us that early education is critical for our youngest learners. It puts them on a path for success academically, socially, and emotionally, and it's a proven way to eliminate or prevent opportunity gaps in education. As we begin to recover from this devastating pandemic, we owe it to our communities and our children to get this right. Universal preschool in Los Angeles would transform the educational experiences and life outcomes of generations to come. We simply cannot afford to wait. And then I'll give a few words in Spanish before we hear from more of our speakers. Hoy estamos lanzando este esfuerzo para lograr la educación preescolar universal para el año 2024. Antes de COVID, el acceso a la educación de alta calidad temprana en Los Ángeles no era lo suficiente. Como madre de 2 niños pequeños, sé lo difícil que ha sido esto para nuestras familias. COVID le ha dado más luz a este problema. Nuestro plan, usaremos los fondos de ayuda de COVID para expandir nuestros programas este otoño y brindará acceso a todos los niños de 3 y 4 años en Los Ángeles en los próximos 3 años. La educación preescolar juega un papel crítico en la educación de nuestros estudiantes latinos, estudiantes de inglés y estudiantes de bajos recursos. Es fundamental en la lucha contra las desigualdades educativas y crea oportunidades económicas. Simplemente no podemos esperar. Before I turn to my colleagues, I do want to recognize Elsa Jacobson from Child 360, Stacy Lee from Children Now, and Sonia Campos Rivera from Unite LA, who are here today for their support. Each has been, oh yes, let's give them a round. Each has been a longstanding partner and advocate for ensuring we're investing in our early childhood programs and serving our kids well. With that, I'd like to introduce one of the resolution's co-sponsors, Board Member Jackie Goldberg. Board Member Goldberg has been a tireless advocate for students and families of Los Angeles over generations, and I greatly appreciate her support of this effort. Jackie.
What that means is I'm really old. and that's a good thing, because I've watched the decline in our ability to reach out to early education children, to our little ones, to get them ready for school. You know, when we take a look at the class differences amongst children, what we see are a difference in the number of words that they have learned. It doesn't matter what language, in any language. The vast difference in the number of words at some homes than others reflects the fact that many times parents have no opportunity, because they're working 2 or 3 jobs, to actually spend time talking to their kids and singing to their kids in a way that middle class and upper middle class parents have lots of time to do. Early childhood education levels the playing field, but it does so much more than that. It helps young children feel important at a very early age, and that's very important, because self-confidence is a big part of resilience, and resilience is a big, big part of staying at a task even when there are challenges that interfere. So early childhood education, we're actually the only industrialized nation in the world that does not have free early childhood education for 100% of their children. We are the only industrialized nation in the world that does not have child care for all parents who need it. And actually, even if you don't need it, you can have child care, because they understand how much it is important to children, not just to their families, to children, to have the opportunity to become socially connected to other children at an early age, to learn language, to learn social skills, to learn to get along. I remember that everything that I needed to know, I learned in kindergarten, a famous person once said. Well, that person learned them in kindergarten after going to preschool, because before preschool they wouldn't have learned everything they need to know in kindergarten. So we need to be doing this, and I'm very proud to join Kelly Gonez's effort in doing this, because this is something that has been on my personal agenda for a lifetime. I do not believe you can close the achievement gap without free opportunities for every single child, starting at 3 years old, to be in a place where it's fun, where it's exciting, where it's invigorating, where it's stimulating, and when it makes you feel like you're a very important 3-year-old. And so people have invested money in your education. They may not get all those little pieces, but they know it means they're important. And we need to tell children, all children in this culture, that they are important. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Board Member Goldberg. Next, we will have Board Member Nick Melvin, also a co-sponsor of this resolution. Board Member Melvin has been a constant advocate for early education, including his support with this resolution. Mr. Melvin.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone, and thank you to my colleagues, Board President Gonez and Board Member Goldberg, for their remarks and collaboration on today's initiative to reach our goal of universal preschool. And thanks to our other partners who are here. We've learned so much in the last few decades about the importance of the early years in brain development for future learning and well-being. And the pandemic has further highlighted that preschool is also a missing link in today's social safety net. While the benefits of universal early education are now well known, we have lacked the collective effort and funding to act, to make big, bold changes in the structure of our system of early care and schooling to meet the needs of our youngest learners. We know the time is now, the need is great, and this resolution charts a path forward, building on work this district has done to increase early learning opportunities to get us to universal access. We hope the board will join us today in a commitment that by the 2024-25 school year, every child aged 3 to 5 will have a seat in a high-quality early education program. This starts with expanding both district transitional kindergarten and expanded transitional kindergarten classes by using both federal and state COVID-19 relief funds to ensure equitable access across the district beginning this fall. I'm proud that this builds off our previous It's Elementary resolution of last year that looks at ensuring the earliest possible starting grade at every elementary school. Our longer-term plans also prioritize increased access to Head Start programming, career training for early educators, expansion of our dual language early ed pilot, of our preschool collaborative classrooms, and of our Preschool for All Learners program. We also intend to reopen early ed sites that have been shuttered for years, and I'm glad we have some of our early ed partners here with us today, as I look forward to working collaboratively with you all to reopen these existing sites, including Rosewood and Beethoven, and Board District 4 in the coming months. This will increase seats for our youngest learners beyond the capacity of what LA Unified can do alone. LAUSD has led over this last year, from running the largest school-based food relief effort in American history to the largest school-based COVID testing effort, and so much more. And it's exciting to continue that leadership by making universal preschool finally a reality for LA's kids. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Melvin. As I shared, this work is going to take partnership, and so we are so glad that some of our labor partners are here today to support this effort. Max Arias is the Executive Director of SEIU Local 99. Local 99 not only represents our early education center aides, who we'll see in action shortly, but they also represent childcare providers in our communities who will be so critical to this effort to reach all children in Los Angeles by 2024. Max Arias.
Thank you, Board Member Gomez. SAU Local 99 members include thousands of education workers in LAUSD early education programs, independent early learning centers, and family childcare providers. We know that childcare and early learning are essential, but there are vast inequities in funding and access to quality childcare and early education programs. Decades of low investment in our youngest learners have disproportionately impacted our Black and Brown communities. That is why we are proud to partner with LAUSD Board President Kelly Gones in supporting the expansion of early education programs at LAUSD. Quality early learning and care are crucial to ensure all children have a chance to succeed in school, regardless of race, income, or zip code. And they are critical to parents' ability to provide for their families while ensuring the well-being of their children. Childcare and early education are essential pieces of our social and community infrastructure, and they should be treated as such. We are particularly excited to partner with LAUSD to create community-focused programs that include collaborations with home-based childcare providers. These providers run programs that prepare children for K-12 classes. They often care for students before and after school. And during the pandemic, they have provided critical support with distance learning. By working together with the school district, providers can create a more seamless learning experience for students. We also look forward to working on professional development programs for early educators. By providing early education aides and other district workers with the opportunity to earn their credentials, we can grow more teachers from within our communities of color. We also support expanding parent engagement by more fully integrating school parent centers with early education programs. We look forward to working with LAUSD and other community partners to create the early care and learning system our communities and our children so desperately need. Le damos muchas gracias a la presidenta Kelly Gones porque ella está lanzando esta iniciativa que es muy importante. La verdad que los niños no tienen acceso a educación temprana como deberían de tenerlo. Tiene que ver si usted vive en el lugar correcto o si tiene el ingreso correcto, usted puede acceder. Solo 70,000 niños de 2 millones que deberían tener subsidio, tienen subsidio. Es muy importante lo que está haciendo este distrito escolar en tratar de expandir las oportunidades para que todos los niños tengan el derecho y tengan el acceso, no solo el acceso, pero también el acceso que ellos puedan pagar, porque la verdad que el acceso existe, pero no alcanza. O sea, tiene que ser acceso a educación temprana sin costo. Y eso es muy importante para que nuestras comunidades sigan saliendo adelante. Muchas gracias y seguimos adelante en colaboración con la presidenta Kelly Gones.
Thank you so much, Max. And last but not least, our teachers are going to be critical to this effort to achieving universal preschool in the next 3 years. So finally, we have Julie Vanwinkle, the Vice President for Secondary Schools at United Teachers Los Angeles, or UTLA. I want to thank Ms. Vanwinkle and UTLA for their support of this resolution and for all of our amazing early educators who provide such high quality instruction to our youngest learners. Ms. Vanwinkle.
My goodness, my mask is caught on my earring. Thank you, Board President Gones. During this pandemic, UTLA, led by our president, Cecily Mayart Cruz, have been calling for a healthy, healing, and racially just return to school. But for this to happen, we cannot simply go back to how we did education in the before times. No, as traumatic as this pandemic has been, we UTLA members hope that finally it can lead to real social change. The pandemic exposed so many systemic problems. Now it's time to take action, and we think Board President Gones's resolution for universal preschool does that. A healthy, healing, racially just return to school. How does universal preschool do this? Healthy. Preschool helps our youngest babies develop their minds. And high-quality programs also offer mental health services, which so many families in our communities historically have struggled to access. Healing. Let's heal our current preschool system, which is expensive, largely privatized, and uneven in terms of instructional quality. Racially just. Historically, low-income communities and communities of color have struggled to access high-quality preschool, and preschool at all for that matter. Universal preschool for every child in LA would be a game changer. As some of the previous speakers stated, academic success starts with preschool. I'm proud to represent UTLA in our support for universal preschool here in LA. Let's learn from this horrible year and let's enact real change, starting with this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Vanwinkle, and to all of our speakers and supporters. The board will be considering this resolution at 2 p.m. today, so I encourage everyone to tune in online or on KLCS to watch the discussion and the vote. Now we will open up briefly for questions before we head inside to visit with some of our Arminta students.
Starting off, obviously the COVID relief money is a